Serving wood-fired foods and handcrafted cocktails in a discreet location, Vintner Grill has been a favorite of Las Vegas movers and shakers for over 15 years. Today, we're talking to the founder of this Summerlin staple, a local entrepreneur who has opened 10 restaurants.
Welcome to Elevate, where we explore the latest in elevated living. Hear from the local artisans, business owners, and innovators that make Las Vegas extraordinary, and whose stories and insights will help you live your best life.
This is episode 11 with Michael Corrigan, real estate developer and owner of Vintner Grill and Roadrunner Saloon, also available on Google and Apple Podcasts. So tell us about the Michael Corrigan Restaurant Group.
Michael Corrigan Restaurant Group is, now it's consisting of a restaurant up in Summerlin called Vintner Grill. It's kind of modern American with a lot of Italian influences, exhibition cooking. Everything's cooked on real wood. We don't cook anything with gas. We actually build fires with all of our preparation in the food at Vintner Grill. And then we have another, it's called Roadrunner Saloon, and it's a Western themed neighborhood saloon with gaming. And that's what's kind of remaining of Michael Corrigan Restaurant Group. We had a chain of Roadrunners, which were Western themed, and we had them throughout the valley. We had 10 branches of those. And I had a large Mexican concept called Agave, which was up in Summerlin as well, which is a really large 10,000 square foot Mexican concept that we imported everything in from Guadalajara, Mexico. And it was a very unique structure and a very unique building. But right now, Michael Corrigan Restaurant Group consists of Vintner Grill and the Roadrunner.
Fantastic. So what led you to start the group?
I got into the restaurant business kind of more out of being in the development business. And coming back from Southern California, where I went to school, I got back here in the late 80s, and we were remodeling a shopping center, and there was a small neighborhood saloon called the Roadrunner Saloon. It was just a little 2,300 square foot saloon, and it was really in a northeast side of town, not the best part of town, kind of a construction hard hat area. And the tenant was not going to renew his lease. So I thought, hey, I had heard all about, I was more lured by the gaming and what potentially gaming could produce. And I was a little bit fascinated by that and thought it'd be interesting. So I decided to take it over and take over the lease. And we just basically went in there, and my brother and I did most of the TIs ourselves and got this thing opened. And it turned out to be actually really successful. It was we had a real construction clientele, but it was a lot of fun. We Western themed it. We started with that because it, like, kind of Las Vegas came out of the El Dorado days, and Western seemed to be a lasting concept where it wouldn't kind of be a new themed concept. Mm-hmm. And so we spent a lot of time getting Western memorabilia and put it in there, and it had a great feel. And I actually opened that up in 1991. So I've been doing it for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyways, that small little location evolved into what became a 10 location chain. Mm-hmm. And with that, we started opening locations around the valley. And then I was able to obtain the last gaming license that allowed for non-restricted games in Las Vegas. So it was in 1996, and I was able to, we got a piece of property that had a grandfathered license on it that allowed me to build a casino without hotel rooms.
Really?
So I was the last license that was able to do that in Nevada.
And where was the property at?
It was out on the Boulder Highway,
okay.
Lake Mead and Major, or Boulder Highway and Major, excuse me. And so it was a 6,000 square foot structure, but I was able to get 199 gaming machines in it without building rooms. It's more of a neighborhood casino environment.
That's what it sounds like.
And then that segued into more Roadrunners. And then we were involved with some of the early developments in Summerlin. And they came to us. Kevin Orrick came to us and asked if we would be interested in putting a Roadrunner concept up in Summerlin. Mm-hmm. And we had just finished the one on Flamingo and 215. Mm-hmm. And so it was too close, but we said, we started thinking about what we could do that wasn't a Roadrunner. And we knew that there hadn't been any Mexican restaurants developed in Summerlin at that time. And it was back in, I think, 2002, early 2000s. So we went back to Kevin, who was the president of Summerlin at the time, and said, would you consider allowing us to do, it's not a Roadrunner, but we'd like to do a real authentic Mexican themed restaurant. And he liked the concept and he agreed with it. So again, we put a lot of time and effort and worked with a designer out of Dallas that took us down to Guadalajara, Mexico. And Guadalajara is kind of the hub for glass, metal, tile, furniture that's all from Mexico. It's crafted in Mexico down there. And so we went down, spent 14 days down there and found artisans that made our tables and our chairs and our lighting. And we imported all of that stuff back into Las Vegas, and we built a big 10,000 square foot Mexican restaurant. So,
that's cool.
And then another thing that was really unique is Mr. Orrick. They have really tight guidelines in Summerlin with their exterior and what the exteriors could look like and colors. And so we wanted, being down in Mexico and doing a lot of the study of the architecture in the regions, we wanted to paint it. I don't know if you remember, but it was fuchsia.
Oh, yeah.
And orange.
I remember when that opened, yeah.
And we used a lot of really vivid colors, but they were real representative of what we were trying to do, bringing the real authentic Mexican theme. And we thought we really needed to show that in the exterior. So convincing Mr. Orrick that we didn't want to follow the standard palette, and we knew we couldn't go through the architectural review because it would have gone, they would have checked it off immediately. But we brought him out. We brought him into the process of everything that we were doing on the interior. And then when we showed him, we had painted some of the colors on the exterior of the building. And he actually walked the project with us, and he looked at us and he goes, go ahead and buy the paint. So we were the first building that was kind of approved in the master plan of Summerlin that allowed us to really do some unique colors to help emphasize the development.
That's awesome. I mean, the Summerlin Business Park we're in now, I mean, we can't even put a color on our signage outside the building. So it's brown on brown, basically. Yeah.
That's great.
So how many restaurants have you been opened over the years?
I've opened 10. We've now, Vintner Grill is we've just celebrated our 15th anniversary in December.
Congrats.
We're really, really proud of that.
So what other businesses have you operated?
Besides the restaurants and the different concepts we've developed there, I've developed self-storage facilities all throughout the valley. We've done commercial. We have commercial office buildings, one notable across the street from the Palms Hotel, right on Flamingo. Okay. So we actually developed that before the off-ramp, the Flamingo off-ramp in the 15 were just getting developed, and we had an opportunity to buy that piece of property there, and we developed a 40,000 square foot office building there. And we've had fourplexes, apartments, and then our project where the Vintner Grill actually is now, we developed that 75,000 square foot office building on Charleston and Indigo.
For those that don't know Vintner Grill, it is the premier destination for local fine dining here in Las Vegas, outside of the Strip. Tell us a little bit about how you accomplished that.
I think first we did it with the interior. We brought in a design aesthetic that looked more residential than a restaurant. And that came with a lot of effort in thinking, okay, what could we do to produce a restaurant, but still make it feel like you're in a beautiful home. And then on top of that, then we created another, like I mentioned before, developing a patio, and where the patio became an extension of the restaurant. And so we put these cabanas out on the patio that we actually had imported from India, with Moroccan lights in the trees and fire pits that were coming up and a water feature. And so it just felt really tranquil and very different. And I think that people really gravitated to that. They couldn't get that experience in a restaurant in Las Vegas. So the aesthetic was a big part of it. When they walked in, it was kind of a wow. But then once they got to try our food, and we produce everything with the highest ingredients, we produce everything from scratch. And so then once they tried the food, and it was wonderful fresh fish that was prepared uniquely, and great chops and steaks and things like that, that's all cooked on mesquite and oak wood. And that flavor from the wood really imparts a lot of uniqueness to the food. And so then they gravitated toward the food. And then we spend a lot of time with our training and our service and making sure that our service staff really understands how everything is made and the ingredients and how to articulate the ingredients to the guest. And before anybody gets out on the floor, they spend an entire training session, a full week in the back of house, making sure that they understand the full preparation of everything that we do. So I think those things, the aesthetic, the food that's imparted with this wood, and getting to see the cooks prepare it too. It's all exposed. And I think that's what really gravitated, or what caused people to gravitate toward the restaurant.
And back when you did this 15 years ago, there really wasn't anything like it anywhere near Summerlin, correct?
No, that we were really the first restaurant that came out that wanted to produce a product that was elevated, more fine dining in a really pretty aesthetic. And we took a big risk doing that. And but it paid off. And then once we established ourselves, we had a lot of the chefs that had come to Las Vegas that were working on the Strip that wanted to come out and actually have an opportunity to do something in the suburbs. So we kind of led the charge with a lot of the celebrity chefs and a lot of famous chefs from all over the country who wanted to take the opportunity out to the West, as we did with our success. So
yeah,
we love it.
Fantastic spot.
Yes.
So what led you to put a restaurant in an actual business park?
That is a good question. We had an opportunity to build the office building, which is about 75,000 feet. As you know, in most major cities in New York, San Francisco, Boston, restaurants in the bottom of office buildings are pretty prevalent. Here in Las Vegas, nobody had ever done one. And so we were fortunate is that we were able to develop the restaurant when we were designing the office building, so we could put the infrastructure, plumbing, electrical, and all of those things into the slab while we were building the office building. But here in Las Vegas, nobody had the consultants and the trades didn't really know how to ventilate from the first floor through the second floor, because we wanted to lease the second floor. And it was actually to Bank of America, who was going to lease the second floor. But we had to shaft all of the exhaust fans and everything right through the second floor. It's been a real plus for the office complex and the office park, because it's so convenient for people who are doing business to come over for a business lunch. And Summerlin has really embraced it as a place to come for business lunches and wonderful dinners and things like that.
Absolutely. It's actually on our list for today.
Yes,
the business lunch.
We're headed there for lunch today.
Good.
So what are some of the accomplishments you're proud of in the restaurant industry?
Well, I'm really proud of, we were the first ones to really develop patio concepts. And so all of the restaurants that we've developed, a patio was a big component of it. And in Phoenix and Scottsdale, California, patios were really developed into a lot of their products. But here in Las Vegas, nobody was really building patios that were designed to really complement the restaurant. And so we were the first group that was really spent a lot of time and effort in doing that. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud that we were able to develop a restaurant in an office building with no exposure. And with Vintner, it's very discreet, very hard to find, but people will come back if they like the food and they like the experience and they like the service. Vintner's kind of proven that they will find it.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And that brings me to a question about how that happened. Like, how did you build 15 years ago when there was really a lot less in Summerlin? How did people start coming into the restaurant? Was it word of mouth? Were people you knew? How did that happen?
It was really scary.
Yeah. And
it was the first time where I was kind of second guessing what I was doing, because halfway through the project, I was walking in there and I developed it with my brother. I was partners with my brother. And I just called him up and I said, you got to come up here because I think we've lost our mind. I don't know how anybody's going to figure out how to even get in here. You know, it's going to be such an odd experience for them to try to figure out where it even is. Mm-hmm. And so I was really second guessing the completion of that product. And then once we were in it too far where I couldn't pull out. Mm-hmm. So once we opened up, and my wife Joelle can attest to this, we opened up and we sat you could hear crickets for the first 10 days we were mm-hmm. open. And then I kind of got desperate and I called, and you know the old World War II lights, the lights that used to go in the sky for the movie premieres. Yes. Yep. Yeah, I was calling them, and I had this old, I don't even know where it came from. So the spotlights were out there, and we were trying everything we could do to figure out that there was a restaurant here. But through, it was a really stressful couple of months getting it open, but just the wheel started to turn and people started to talk about it. And the few people that we had came in were starting to come back, and it just started to snowball. So I'm most proud of Vintner because of that. It's just really so unsure if it would work or not. And then to see it finally work, and then to finally hit our 15-year anniversary, that's a big accomplishment, I think, in the restaurant business.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
So what's the big difference between being a restaurateur and running a restaurant or restaurant group?
Fortunately, I have a great management team. We have a wonderful, our back of house staff we have since day one. Our 4 salaried chefs are still the same guys that have been back there, the same chefs that have been in the back of the kitchen since the day we opened. Oh, wow. We still have the same pastry chef. And so that's been a tremendous part of the success, is those people that helped open it have helped maintain its consistency. So I'm super fortunate that I've had a group, a staff and a group of people that have been with me since day one there. And that's what's made that running a restaurant for me is kind of making sure the group is together, and we keep hoping to inspire and motivate our interior team. But that's how I operate more as a restaurateur. Then I have to be involved with the financial side of it, where you're making sure that in restaurant business, everything's percentages, labor percentage, food percentage, controllable cost, non-controllable cost. So I'm constantly looking at those percentages, but guiding the team that's inside the restaurant, actually working the day-to-day operations.
Got it. It seems one of the things that seems like a common thread through all these ventures is you've definitely got the business side of development and businesses and percentages and the budgets, but there's a very common thread of this artisan mindset, or craftsmanship that seems to, whether it's through Agave and spending the time in Guadalajara I remember all the light fixtures and the stained glass, or just how creative it is, and just the elements of the design you brought to Vintner, and just, it seems to be not just about building, but creating something unique or special. Where does that come from?
It's always interested me, just that creating something that is true to what we're trying to do. And to kind of expand on the Roadrunner concept, we took that even another level, where we had 2 gals that were out of Denver, and they grew up in Steamboat Springs, but they were really they really had a good feel for the Western vintage interiors. So they spent 3 weeks driving around Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, and they went to all of these wonderful swap meets, and wherever they got a lead and they said, oh, well, this guy's getting rid of saddles, or they'd get a lead and they say, well, this guy has an incredible spur collection that he wants to sell. So they spent 3 weeks procuring all of the stuff that we put in the Roadrunner on Flamingo in 215. And we did that just because we wanted to really present the Western aesthetic. And so we
Authentically,
we do, so we really do spend a lot of time and effort, and it's fun. That's the fun part of building something, is when you really put it together, not just to get it up and opened, but to really spend some time creating a unique experience when the guest comes in.
You know, F&B is not for the weak of heart, and a lot of restaurants don't make it. What is the secret to maintaining your success?
I think it comes down to the people, you know, making sure your staff is supported, make sure they're appreciated, make sure they're well trained. And I think if you've got a staff that appreciates where they are and where they're working and they feel good about it, that resonates to the guest. And I think that's a big part of it. And it's also, you have to continue to deliver a product that people want to come back for. And in the restaurant business, consistency is everything. And so just trying to maintain that consistency just takes constant focus. But if you can continue to, I think that's why we've been able to succeed, is because we really pay attention to those areas.
I agree. You do.
Yeah.
Who are some of the celebrities that have wined and dined?
You can share.
We've had a lot. It's really fun to see it, and our guests enjoy it. But we've had Carlos Santana, who has a residency here. He's in Often, and we love seeing him. He's really good to the guest. He actually goes back and speaks Spanish to all of the guys in the back. And he's
awesome.
just really a great guy, and he brings his wife in. Carlos is a regular. Nicolas Cage comes in often. Carrot Top is one of our terrific guests. Again, he has a residence here, but he really enjoys a late lunch here. But we've had lots of senators and lots of sports figures. Oral Hershiser, the Cy Young Award winner, was here. Tyra Banks, Bette Midler, just a long list of the governors are here. The governor celebrated Valentine's Day with us this year, so that was really nice. He had just been elected, and Valentine's came, and he and his wife celebrated Valentine's there. Franco Harris, the great football player from Pittsburgh, was in. So we've just enjoyed having a long list. Miss America has been in. Right. We had a fun event around when the pageant was here in Las Vegas. We had them all up. They all came up for a luncheon and a charity event. So we do a lot through the restaurant with local charities as well. Where my wife is on the board of Nevada Ballet, and previously on the board of Nevada Ballet, but we've support the ballet and lots of local charities. The Meadow School, we help, and whenever we can offer the restaurant to help a local charity, we do that. Cool. And so we've been active with that since it's opened.
Very cool.
So Vintner has become quite the go-to place for movers and shakers and big names. Was this intentional?
It wasn't specifically intentional. Mm-hmm. It was because we just wanted to make sure it's a byproduct of us doing everything right. We were paying attention to the aesthetic, the service, the product, and the consistency.
I think the fact that it's approachable too. Everyone is treated so well there.
Everybody's treated the same way. And they can come in and feel comfortable in the location. I think that's kind of the byproduct of it.
I hear there's a renovation in the works.
We're really excited about it. It's, we've maintained the furniture where it's been refabricated and resanded and repainted, but it's now time that after 15 years, we're going to go and do a complete renovation to the interior of the restaurant. Really, really excited about it. We've brought on Paul Dusing out of Dallas, who I mentioned previously. He was the original designer. Okay. And so he's come in, and we've put together it's still going to have the same aesthetic, the same feel, the same Vintner green, but it's just going to be beautifully redone again with new furniture, new paint, new fabrics, all new patio, new cabanas. So it'll look just like it did 15 years ago. So hopefully we can go another 15.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to
it. Yeah.
So in addition to the restaurant itself, you do a lot of big offsite special events. Tell me about that.
That is also a byproduct of the restaurant and people wanting to have the same experience that they're getting in the restaurant at their home or at even their office, but in other large venues. And Vintner, we developed what we call our offsite team. So we have an offsite chef, a special event coordinator that now you can work with. Her name is Tanya Piazza. She's our special events coordinator. And if you're a guest and you want to do an event with Vintner, she can help you with that process. And but it's become a big part of our business. You can do a sit-down dinner we've done them up to 350 people.
Oh, wow.
And we do a lot of weddings offsite. And so, yeah, we're geared up for that. And we produce the same product that we do in the restaurant.
And when you get off work, what do you and your wife, Joelle, like to do for dinner or fun or entertainment yourselves?
No, we love to travel. We love Red Rock. We spend a lot of time up in Red Rock cycling or hiking. And we love to ski. We ski a lot and we still go down to the Strip and enjoy those restaurants too. So we're always looking. We always want to go around and see what everybody else is doing. So we enjoy going out to dinner. And we have two great kids. My daughter just graduated from CU Boulder and decided to stay up in Boulder. And Robbie will like this. She's going to get into residential real estate.
All right.
So
Nice.
she's looking forward to that. She's just starting. And then my son is a quarterback for Colgate University back in Hamilton, New York. So he's in part of the Patriot League, and he's back getting ready to start a season back there. So it's fun. Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Well, it's been a lot of fun. Appreciate you taking the time, and look forward to seeing you at Vintner Grill.
We'll see you today for lunch.
Thank you for having me. It was really, really a pleasure. And thank you for everything you guys have done for the Las Vegas and what you're doing. We appreciate everything you do at the restaurant. So thank you.